all of you. My name is Gábor Mondik. I'm the leader responsible for the creative section of Creative Europe Hungarian office, and I would like to welcome you at the event, which is going to be based on the residency programs of the Culture Moves Europe program. Just a brief introduction. So, the Culture Moves Europe is implemented in the framework of the Creative Europe program. This is a framework program, and this takes place during the period 2021-2027. It's got a budget of 2.5 billion euros, and part of it over the upcoming 3 years is going to be devoted to the Culture Moves Europe program to the tune of 25 million euros. So in outlines about the program itself, as I've already mentioned, the aim is to support the cultural and creative industries, and the most popular part is the European collaborations area. This is going to be initiated in February, and organizations and consortiums of various organizations can submit applications for that, and after it is announced in February, we expect the application deadline to be set for May. So if you think in terms of international consortiums and you would like to submit applications to organizations, I would definitely recommend that you follow information published on various channels. What I would like to tell you is that I represent the Hungarian Creative Europe office. We are members of an international framework, international network, in every country where this program runs, not just the 27 EU member states, but 41 European countries. There is a Creative Europe office who is tasked with promoting this program in that given country. Should you have any questions, you can reach out to the Creative Europe office there and you can ask your questions. Today's event is special because we're going to be talking about the Culture Moves Europe call, which is the simplest entry-level call within the Creative Europe program, framework program, because here you can submit applications as natural persons. Artists and cultural professionals can submit applications to participate in residency programs. So this is going to be the first part of today's event. We're going to be talking about the individual mobility programs, and there's another leg to this program, which is the residency action part, which is organized for organizations, but the topic is the same. You can actually host cultural professionals and artists within the framework of the residency program. The specialty of the program is, apart from the fact that you can submit applications as an individual, so the other specialty is that contrary to other calls for applications or tenders, you won't have to submit applications as a consortium. You can do it in small groups or as individuals, and it is not a tender that is managed by the European Commission directly. They just announced a tender to manage this particular call, and it was awarded to the Goethe-Institut in Brussels. So it's not the Creative Europe office who's going to talk about this particular area, but representatives of the Goethe-Institut, because they are the ones who, over the upcoming 3 years, will be able to give you information in the most detailed and deepest manner. And with that, I would like to conclude my briefing. Thank you very much for your attention, and for several sentences I would like to switch over to English to welcome my international guests.
I would like to just say a few words in English as well to greet our international participants, and mainly I would like to greet our presenters today. Ekaterina and Antigone. Thank you very much for joining us. And thank you very much, Ekaterina, for taking over because we had some troubles. Colleagues got sick, and Ekaterina is our hero today who steps in and saves the day. So with this, I give you the floor, and thank you very much.
Thank you for the introduction. Unfortunately, I don't speak Hungarian, so I missed the first part, but I got the gasp of what you were saying, and now I will start sharing my screen to present individual mobility action. And yeah, then my colleague Antigone will take over and tell more about call for residency hosts. So first, I will start with a brief introduction. What is Culture Moves Europe? It's a mobility scheme that supports individual mobility and residency projects. Our core values are gender, geographical, sectoral balance. We also encourage sustainability and inclusion. And this project is funded by the European Union and is implemented by the Goethe-Institut Brussels. Not Goethe-Institut, but me and my colleague Antti, we are working in Brussels. So what are Creative Europe countries? These are 27 countries of the European Union, plus Albania, Armenia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Georgia, Iceland, Kosovo, Liechtenstein, Moldova, which joined the list of Creative Europe countries starting from the 1st of January this year, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Norway, Serbia, Tunisia, and Ukraine, but also a list of overseas countries and territories and outmost regions, which I won't read out loud right now, but you can see it here. What are the eligible sectors? It's 7 sectors, and these both Creative Europe countries and sectors, it's valid for both individual mobility and residency action. So here you can see that it's architecture, cultural heritage, design and fashion design, literature, music, performing arts, visual arts, but we also welcome projects which are cross-disciplinary, and you can be focused not just on one of these sectors. So as I said before, there are 2 calls. Call for individual mobility, open from the 1st of October till the 30th of April, and call for residency hosts, which is quite new. It was opened on the 15th of December. It will last till the 16th of March. Now I will focus on call for individual mobility. For the individual mobility, we have monthly deadlines, meaning that by the end of each month, all of the applications will be revised, check on eligibility, and this scheme works till the end of the call. So here you can see the calendar. There was no December deadline, and the next monthly deadline is the 31st of January, meaning that you still have time to apply within this month, but if no, then there is still February, March, and April. Who can apply? Call for individual mobility is valid for individuals aged above 18. There is no upper limit, age limit, and residing in one of the Creative Europe countries, regardless of their nationality. You can be an established artist, you can be an emerging artist, you can be a freelancer, you can be just art curator, photographer. So this call is really open to everyone, and you can apply individually or in a group. Group projects are valid for little groups up to 5 applicants, and every group applicant must meet eligibility criteria. And also, the project within the group should take place in the same place at the same time and for the same duration. Group members can come from different countries, can have different nationalities, can be active in different sectors. It's also can be an established band group or just the first collaboration. Only the project should be united. Regarding reapplications, if you have already applied for this open call, then unfortunately you can't reapply, no matter whether the application was submitted individually or within a group. But if you have applied previously for previous calls for Culture Moves Europe, then you can still reapply. However, priority might be given to first-time applicants. What do you need to apply? First, you need a project. That makes sense. This project should be carried out in another Creative Europe country, different from where you reside. And in the application form, you will be asked to submit a short information about the project, which is the long-term outcome, importance of mobility, etc., etc. Then you need an international partner who will collaborate with you during the project implementation in the destination country. And then there is a list of supporting documents, which are quite simple. It's sufficient national identification. This is also a proof of residence in a Creative Europe country, short curriculum vitae, artistic and creative portfolio, and also a letter of invitation from the international partner. This is also valid for group members, and every group member should submit one of these documents. Also, refugee or humanitarian protection status document. These are also valid documents to submit. Who is an international partner? It's a person or an organization with whom you will collaborate during your project. Here, there are also no restrictions. It can be another artist, or it can be a curator. It can be a museum or NGO or a festival. We leave it up to you. You just need a letter of invitation from this international partner. This international partner should be relevant for the objectives of your project and should be based in the destination country of your project, different from where you reside. And here you see a little list of the information which letter of invitation should contain. So information about the partner themselves, also name of the applicant or all applicants within the group, overview of the collaboration, dates of the project, and then date and signature of the international partner. Some information about the mobility project. So as I said, it might be just one, it should be one key destination where you will stay and work with your international partner. However, if you have different activities within your project in the same country, you are still allowed to travel around. It's just important that these activities, they're connected to your project and they support the project objectives. There are also 3 duration categories. For individual projects, it can be from 7 to 60 days, and for group projects from 7 to 21 days. And here in this little chart, you can see the distribution of the grant in general. So the biggest part of this cake is given to short-term projects, 68%. Then medium-term projects, 20%, and 12% for long-term projects. And here you can already guess that if you apply with the short-term projects, then chances are higher because more grants are planned for short duration projects. As I mentioned before multiple times, you need to choose objectives. Here are the objectives that you can choose for your project. First, to explore, to conduct creative and artistic research, investigate, draw inspiration, and work on a specific theme or concept. Also to create, to engage in a creative process, seeking to produce a new piece of artistic or cultural work. To learn, to enhance competencies and skills, for example, through collaboration with a specialist. or to connect, to develop a professional network, to strengthen professional development, to engage with new audience. How projects are evaluated. Here are 5 evaluation criteria. And while submitting your application, you can ask yourself the same question. And it's really helpful by drafting project description to answer these questions. First of all, what is the project relevance? Whether this project pursues the 2 objectives that you've chosen. Is the project well planned? What will be the long-term outcome? Is the mobility relevant for this project? And what are the sustainability aspects of your project? Here, I present you the timeline. So it's better to apply at least 4 months before your project starts. And if you receive a positive answer, you will have 30 days to sign the grant agreement. And then after the signature of grant agreement, 6 months to implement your project. So your project starts, your travel starts. This time doesn't count within the project. Then you implement your project in the destination country for the agreed duration. And it's important that your project is not interrupted and it can't be restarted later. And after the end of the project, you will have 30 days to submit the activity report. About the activity report, I will talk later. What's the grant amount and what it is composed of? It depends, of course, on the project and person, but this is what you can expect. The grant is composed of travel allowance and daily allowance, and, if applicable, top-ups and accessibility support. Travel allowance is a fixed amount of money, 400 euros or 800 for destinations starting from 5,000 kilometers and above, per person per round trip. And also daily allowance in the amount of 85 euros for each day of the project implementation. This is so-called per diem, and this money will contribute to accommodation, food, equipment, local transport, and some daily expenses. And there are also top-ups and accessibility support, which will give you additional financial support. What are the top-ups? First, we have a green mobility top-up, which is 400 euros. If the distance between your residence and the destination is at least 600 kilometers and you use sustainable means of transport, meaning everything but for plane, then you can apply for green mobility top-up. There is also OCT-OR top-up. OCT-OR, it's that list of outmost regions and overseas countries and territories. If you come from these regions or you go to implement your project in these regions, you can also apply for this top-up. There is also family top-up, 200 euros per child. And visa top-up, if you need visa to go to the country of your project. And the supporting documents will be asked at a later stage. Accessibility support. Artists with disabilities or accessibility needs can apply for this support, either for extra 30 euros per day of project implementation, if your accessibility needs or disability requires accessible accommodation or transportation or rental of specific equipment. Or you can apply for personal assistant or a sign language interpreter. If it's a professional service, then costs will be covered. If it's a non-professional support, then this person will receive travel allowance and daily allowance, the same as the artist. And you as an applicant can apply either for one of these options or for both. And the supporting documents will be asked at a later stage. There are also exceptions. Virtual mobility. You must apply for virtual mobility if there is a serious threat to safety and security in the destination country you wish to implement your project, or you have the option to apply for virtual mobility if you reside in a country where there is a serious threat to safety and security, or you have disability which prevents you from traveling. Then, in this case, you can also request hybrid mobility, meaning that some part will be of the project will be implemented in person, others in online. And for virtual mobility, the grant is as follows: daily allowance of 40 euros per day. Then applicants can also request family top-up or accessibility support and/or. Here is an example. Stefania develops a circus performance with Ardell International Artists in Denmark, and she has chosen two objectives: to create and to connect. She traveled from Croatia to Denmark by train, and she implemented a project for 15 days. So the grant will be composed as follows: 1,275 euros daily allowance, meaning 85 euros per 15 days of project implementation, 400 euros of travel allowance, plus 400 euros of green top-up as she traveled by train. So the whole grant will be 2,075 euros. And here is an example of a group project. Let's say Kyriaki, Davina, and Ioan explored the local architecture and attended workshops in Bucharest about sustainable construction and design. The project objectives are to learn and to explore. They applied as a group to implement a project in Romania for 10 days. Kyriaki took a flight from Cyprus. Davina took a flight from Poland together with her non-professional sign language interpreter. And then Ioan took a flight from Armenia, and he's a father of a 3-year-old child. So Kyriaki will receive 1,250 euros, no top-ups, just daily allowance and travel allowance. Davina will receive 2,500 euros, sorry, because she also requested accessibility support for the sign language interpreter. And Ioan will receive 1,570 euros with family top-up and visa top-up as he will travel from Armenia. The grant is paid in 2 installments. The first installment will be transferred within 30 days after the signature of grant agreement, and it will be 75 euros of daily allowance plus travel allowance, and if applicable, 75% of accessibility support. And then the second installment will be paid 30 years after the check of activity report, which will be the rest of daily allowance, travel allowance, the rest of accessibility support, and also, most importantly, all top-ups will be transferred with the final payment. Activity report. It's very simple. It will be just a short questionnaire where you will have to prove that the mobility and the project took place, and we will ask you to submit some information with some photos, and that's basically it. And also the proofs of top-ups. But when your project is selected, there will be another info session where our team will go step by step through the next actions, and I won't focus on it right now that much. And now I start sharing my screen and give the word to my colleague, Antti, who will talk about a call for residency hosts.
Thank you, Katja. Hello, everyone. So I will then share my PowerPoint. Just 1 second. I think that you can see my screen. Yes. Okay, so Katja took us through the individual mobility. I will present the call for residency hosts. My name is Antigone Vatylioti. I work on the residencies as a grant officer here in Brussels. And my focus is more in fact the residencies. As Karia said, we have two calls, the call for individual mobility and the call for residency host. These are two different actions. The focus of my presentation, as I said, will be for the legal entities. And before we start, because we know that this is quite a lot of information and pretty packed, I will share a little video with you just to have a little break and introduce you the residencies. I hope you can hear, right? The video? Can you hear?
Not yet. Did you check the checkbox when you shared the presentation?
So now you don't have the sound.
No, we don't have the sound.
No, okay.
Stop your share, please.
Okay. And then
push share again.
Okay. And go to the PowerPoint, to my slide.
Yes, but at the right the right side of the window there is a share sound checkbox.
Okay, super.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, super. Thank you very much. Yeah, sorry, we forgot to mention we had this. So now
working. Thank you.
This here is a special residency only for translators in Arles. Translation being a very solitary work. Programs such as this one, the Culture Moves Europe, help and motivate translators to really kind of meet and connect and to really share this experience that it can get lonely.
I came from Tunis to Marseille by boat, then I took the train. There is a lot of things to translate every day. Literature without translation is a confined activity. I can say that this is a very symbolic place because Van Gogh was interned here. One day I thought that maybe I am in the same room where Van Gogh was living.
You are in the country you're translating from, you listen to the language, you talk to people, you get a feeling for the life of the people, and also you can concentrate completely on your work. And if you are fed with working, you go outside and you cook with other people who also translate.
This is our recipe book, which has been added to by all our residents over the years, a bit like a guest book at the end of a stay. They've added all of their recipes that they cooked either.
Sometimes we talk about the translations we are working on. We share the problems we encounter. Sometimes we give suggestions to each other. But beside that, we talk about translation in general, the different traditions of translation and the conditions under which each of us works in their own country. Also, those are the people of different generations, so there is also that aspect of an exchange that is multi-dimensional.
This is really a little nice family of people who share the same passion in a way.
Okay, so that was it. Just a little note here that indeed we have a lot of videos and stories of grantees in our YouTube channel. So we welcome you to check it. Culture Moves Europe on YouTube. There are stories from individual mobility residencies. We also have tutorial videos and a lot there. And here, before going into details and in my PowerPoint slide, I would like to remind everyone that when we say call for individual mobility or for residency host, it's not only a call that is open for applications, but it also refers to a document that our team, our grants team prepares with all the guidelines, all the rules, or the explanations. These webinars and all the info sessions are really a summary of all the rules and all the things that an applicant needs to know. So I wanted to bring some focus here on our website. You will find these documents. And these, we hope, that are pretty clear. There are sections talking about the eligibility, the grant calculation, everything from communication and logos to support we provide, and the role of the host in the residency. So this is a document that people should really find in our website, read before applying. But today, we are here to give more information. This call is already open for residency host, and the deadline is the 16th of March, midnight. And this call is for residencies with earliest start the 8th of June this year, and the latest finish the 7th of June. So already, if someone wants to organize a residency for April, they know that this is not possible. So this is from the 8th of June until the 7th of June next year. This is the time frame for the residencies. Now, who can apply in this call? Legal entities. It can be, as you see here, organizations, NGOs, public bodies. It can be a university, a municipality. It can be a private company, self-employed people. So these are the legal entities. When we talk about legal entities, they should be registered and based in a Creative Europe country, active in an eligible sector, the sectors that Katia talked before. It's the same, and the countries are the same for both actions, and they should have the capacity to host a residency project, meaning to organize a residency and invite artists and cultural professionals. So it doesn't mean this is not for a host to travel, but this is for an organization in their country to invite artists. So in this action is the artists that are traveling to find the host. Now, in the residency action, we have a two-phase application process. In the first phase, applicants, interested legal entities, submit an application, a project they have in mind. Then we proceed to evaluations and to the announcement of the results, if your application is selected or rejected. Now, if your application is selected, then the organizations, the host, can proceed to the selection of the participants, of the residents, meaning who is going to join them for the residency. Then they should submit a second part of the application called the residency info card. And at the end, when everything is validated, we sign the grant agreement. This is the contract between your legal entity and the Goethe-Institut. And we give the first payment so the residency can start. Now, in the first phase, as we say, the application, this is an online application. We will talk about it in the very end. You need to describe your residency project proposal, meaning what is the idea, give a little summary, what are the objectives, the duration, the location, who will be the mentors, and how many residents you are planning to invite. So in the host, the legal entity is responsible to set the frame. What do we want to do? Why? What will be the objectives and the outcomes? And then this is the narrative part in the application. And then at the end of it, you will need to upload some documents. 3, in fact, the proof that your legal entity is registered. All legal entities have a document of registration. Even if you're a self-employed person, this means your tax registration or something proving that you're a legal entity. This can be in any language, in the language of your country. And then we need the legal entity's artistic portfolio, something that shows the activities of the organization, previous experiences, or generally it gives the profile of the organization, and the CV of the mentors. This should be in English. Now, as Katia explained before, at Culture Moves Europe project, we always have objectives that either the individual grantees or the host should let's say, focus on. And in the residency action, we have the objectives to explore, to create, to learn, to connect, as in the individual mobility, plus one more, to transform. And this is to contribute to societal change in line with the new European Bauhaus values and principles. In the call, we give in the document, we give a link and more information about NEB, the new European Bauhaus, and the host should select two objectives. So is my residency a residency where the invited artist will create something and focus on creation, or is it more to learn? Is it a training or workshops? So here you define a bit the profile and the objective of your residency. Then when I talk about residents, of course, we refer to artists and cultural professionals that will travel and join you. So it's not for local artists. This is for artists that live in another Creative Europe country. Under our call, the rule is that you can invite from 1 and up to 5 residents. Of course, we always say that it is possible to have more residents. Maybe you want to invite some local artists. Maybe you want to have more international artists. We always say that this is possible, but it will not be under our grant. I remember we had the residency where they had 5 international artists having the Culture Moves Europe grant and 5 local ones, and they did a kind of a budding system of collaboration. This is totally fine, but under our financial support, it's only the ones that you communicate to us. The residents can come from different backgrounds, different sectors, different countries. You can have, maybe I organize here in Brussels a dance residency for a dance workshop or work, and I will invite 2 dancers and 1 performing arts professional. It's really up to you. You can have a variety of profiles. And here I remind you that in the application stage, you indicate how many residents you will have. And if you are successful and you proceed to the second phase, then you will select who these residents are. Now, in the residency action, the duration of the residencies are minimum 21 days and maximum 90 days. We have 3 different types. From 21 to 31 days, this is a short-term residency, 32 to 62 medium-term, and up to 90 a long-term. And similarly to individual mobility, of course, the percentage of selection is more for the short ones and less for longer residencies. Now, as a host, you will need to provide accommodation to the residents. This can be within your premises or at the rented place. Of course, good working environment, the material, the equipment, depending of your residency, if they will need material to work on, if they will need a specific space to rehearse. These are things that you will be expected to provide in good and safe conditions, of course. In your residency and in the application, you will see you have there questions. You will need to have at least 1 mentor, someone that will provide artistic guidance to your residents. It can be you. As we say in the residencies, the legal entity should have a responsible person for the residency. We call it the hosting coordinator. This person can also be the mentor. If you have the capacity and the profile, of course, you can, from one hand, manage the residency in a more administrative way and also be the mentor. And I remind you that you have all these explanations in the call. And here, very, very important is that for any residencies that are financially supported by our project, the hosts are not allowed to charge fees the residents for the accommodation, for their participation. This is very, very important, and any services mentioned. So anything that is somehow covered by our grant, you're not allowed to charge the participants. Now, a question we have many, many times since Culture Moves Europe is a project already happening now 3 years, and we had some people that applied before, about reapplication. So as I said, the call is open until the 16th of March. And if you already applied in this call and you want to reapply, so to in fact give us 2 applications within the same call, this is not possible. You can only apply once under each call period. This call is open from December until March. The next call will open in autumn, and then you will be able to reapply. But if in the past, in previous calls for residency host, you applied and you received a grant, you are eligible to apply again. So we give the opportunity to already funded hosts to reapply, but it is always once per call. Now, the evaluation criteria, as I said, our team, as the grant officers, firstly, we take all the applications and we check eligibility. If everything is in place, it's correct and it's valid. And then all the eligible applications proceed to external evaluators. These are not part of Goethe, these are not part of our team. We had a call for experts. We selected professionals in all the sectors. And these evaluators check and evaluate your applications. What they see, and it's always 2 evaluators evaluating each application. In the residency, what they check is firstly the project relevance, the residency relevance, how the residency is relevant to your work, to your organization activities, and to the objectives. Of course, also relevant to Culture Moves Europe. They also evaluate the preparation and planning. What is the program? What are the activities of the residency? So how you will reach these objectives? What do you plan to do with the artist? Then they will see the team involved, the mentors you have, who this mentor is, what is their profile, how will the mentorship contribute to successful collaborations. So how will everyone collaborate to make sure you have the, let's say, the best environment and results. Then they will see the premises and facilities, very important, what facilities you will provide and how you will cover the residents' needs, including the accommodation. Then the impact, what will be the longer and shorter term outcomes, either for your organization, for the local community, or the artist. And finally, the sustainability of your residency. Now, about the residency grant, the budget we give in the residency action, it is important to say that the host receives all the money, and then they are responsible to distribute the budget to the participants. The host will receive for the legal entity, for them, the hosting allowance. This is an amount of €50 per resident per day. And this is to financially contribute to the accommodation expenses of the residents, to any mentor fees or equipment. They also receive, if applicable, the accessibility support if they have a resident with a disability need. And then each resident, so if I am organizing a residency with four residents, then for each of them, there will be the travel allowance. This is for the tickets. This is €400 for the travel tickets of each person, and it's a fixed amount. If my ticket is €263, then €400 are given. It's a lump sum, a fixed amount. It's not based on real cost. Then there is the daily allowance, €30 per day to cover any food or local transportation expenses. And if applicable, again, and similar to individual mobility, the top-ups and the accessibility support. So we have an amount for the host, an amount for each resident, and all the grant is paid to the host. Then the host will, as I said, pay each resident. Now here a little reminder of the top-ups. We have the green mobility top-up, the family top-up, The OCT and the visa top-up, these are exactly the same as in the individual mobility, and they are fixed amounts, and these are given to the residents. So if a resident chooses to travel by train, then they should receive the 400 euro, not the host. And now the accessibility support in the residency action, there are some differences in the amounts. There is a fixed, if you have a resident that has a disability and accessibility need, we give this additional support. There is additional support to the legal entity and to the resident. The resident can also have a personal assistant, professional or non-professional support. And there is also the travel by plane if it's below 60 kilometers. So all these and all the amounts are again explained in the call. You will see the amounts vary depending the duration of the residency. If it's less days, if it's more days, you have a bigger amount. So I will not go into many details now, but it's important to know that this support is provided, and it was a big change from our previous calls. Now, what happens if your application is selected in the first phase? If your application is selected, then you enter the second phase, phase 2, as we call it. And all the selected hosts will be invited in another session where we give info session, where our team will give information about how to select the participants, how to do the payments. So all these details about the implementation of the residency are given later. But here in these sessions, we give you a little summary. As I said, your residents should reside in another Creative Europe country. So the funding is not to invite local artists, but artists that live in another country, regardless nationality. So if an NGO in Hungary wants to invite 3 residents and they are all Hungarian, but they live in different countries, then this is possible. They should be above 18 years old. They should be, of course, active in an eligible artistic and cultural sector, and they should participate at the same time and for the same duration. This is very important. Many times we have this question. The funding is for a residency that happens in the same time for everyone. It is not to invite one artist for 10 days and then after a month, another artist for 20 days. It should be a collaboration of artists and mentors together. And when it comes to selection options, this is really up to the host. We give flexibility. It can be a direct invitation to artists or professionals you already worked with. It can be an open call. It can be through matchmaking sessions that our team organizes, and we will give information soon. It can be a combination. So this is really flexible and really up to you. The residence info card, as I said, is a second part of the application. So if you are selected, you proceed to phase 2, you can select your residence, and then you go back to your online application to complete the information there. In the end, I will invite Katia from Brussels, Antigone from Marseille, and George from Nicosia. I will have these people. Antigone needs accessibility support, or Katia needs a green top-up. This is really the time where you will give more details on the profiles, on the needs. You will provide us with the supporting documents of the artist, of course. And here we will have the final residency grant amount, having all the final details. And let's see an example. I know this is a lot of info and a lot of amounts, but this is just to
Angie, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we have an artist here who has time restrictions, and we are already over 6 minutes. So I don't know, Trisha, can you wait another 3 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minutes
Okay,
maximum.
super. No, I
yes,
can finish.
thank you.
Sorry, yeah, I started 35.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 56 indeed. Okay, I use my 20 minutes. Well, here it was just to give an example. I think we're very close to the end, actually. Yeah, similarly, how is the grant calculated, the top-ups and everything? It's similar to individual mobility. The payments are happening in two installments. First and second installment, the percentages are a bit different from the individual mobility. Similarly, there is an activity report that we should that the host should provide at the end. And then key dates are here, and I think this is my last slide. So application is until the 16th of March. The results are given the 5th of May. The residency info card is open from the 5th of May until the 30th of September. So the host have 4 months to select the residence and submit the info cards. And then the residencies can start from the 8th of June and the latest finished is the 7th of June 2027. Now, how to apply? As we said, this is online. You should go to the Goethe application portal. We will provide all the links. If you apply for the residencies, you need to register as an organization or enterprise and select the call for residency host. You see here in orange. If you are an individual and you're interested in Katja's presentation, you need to register as an individual and select the call for individual mobility. This is a fully online application. You submit everything online. We don't accept any attachments. Here are the links, the QR to scan for our channels. And I think that was it. And thank you. Yeah, I think I started 35. Sorry, 4 minutes late. So I hope that was okay. And I stop sharing my screen. Voilà.
Thank you very much, Antigone, for your presentation. So before giving the floor to all the participants to ask your questions, we would like to have Trisha, Beatrix Simkó, who is a choreographer, and she will share with all of you in practice what does it mean to have a Culture Moves Europe mobility grant. So Trisha, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Hi, thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation. I am just shortly like 2 sentences. I'm dancer and choreographer, and I have been active in the scene, in the Budapest local scene and in the European level, like 15 years. And I've already had lots of touring experiences and residency opportunities. And when I received Culture Moves Europe back then in 23, I already experienced some other European mobility grants, so it was kind of a very glad situation that this kind of support is continued and in that form and gives the opportunity to further mobility inside the European community. And in 23, I was still very active with my works, but I was also like with a small child early in the motherhood, and this mobility grant I used in a project where I could develop my choreographic practice, and I could attend by the help of this mobility platforms for exchange and networking event. In my career and in my practices, I have a long connection to Germany, so that was in my case very obvious that I would like to go to Germany for a platform event from Budapest. So the idea for the content of the grant came and the application came very organically in my practice and in my work, and also the host institution that I connected and I asked to collaborate, I knew from before, but 10 years ago, and this was also a moment to reconnect with the institution itself and also with the scene in Munich, where my residency or my mobility took place. And when I just joined in, in the last slides, I would like to highlight that I was using also these top-ups, two of them that were mentioned just previously. And this was like the green top-up, like I was traveling with the train and took slow travel, and also the family top-up, which allowed me to take my child and my partner with me, and by my partner's help, I could take part in this project that I was applying for, which was more like choreographic development through workshops, seminars, exchange, meetings, and different kind of other discussion formats. So this was in 2023, and I basically used the mobility grant for my own choreographic development and networking possibilities. But I have also the experience with Culture Moves Europe, that my project, my choreographic project, for that one we invited artists, and through the help of the grant, they could take part in a residency connected to a project that I was creating and hosting as a choreographer. So from both directions, it's a very good experience that it helped to finalize a project, or on a certain phase had to move forward with an artistic process by supporting the artist from coming somewhere else, from another country to Budapest in that case. Yes. And I don't know. Shall I say more detailed into some certain aspects of my mobility, or shall I open up the questions? Can you help me with that?
Maybe if you would say some words about how did you find, like how easy was the application, or if you had any challenges, like with either with the application or with the reporting, I think that would be very useful for newcomers to this program. Thank you.
Yeah, so it was easy to find. I found it through social media, and then also through different channels by colleagues who forwarded it constantly. And then I kept also forwarding the calls to other colleagues. I have to note at that point that I am also having a manager and some assistant help. So when I'm writing applications, I have the possibility to reach out to these professionals to discuss the process of the application. So I also got some help writing that. But personally, I think it's a very obvious way how to structure and write the application, and I wouldn't say it's difficult. So I think it's good structured to fulfill all the parts that are required, and yeah, like the extra to do is like beside writing the application is to reaching out the host institution, but it's also obvious to do in favor of to succeed and to realize the project or the desired project. And as I mentioned, in my case, I already had a connection to the partner. So maybe for those who are applying first and don't know how to find partners, then I would suggest that dance platforms and festivals that function also like networking events can be a good lead or an inspiration to find this to find these events throughout the year to attend and reach out to them as partners and hosting partners. Yes, so this was, I think, an easy way to write the application. What was a bit challenging in the end that the installment is coming in two sessions, and somehow the second part took a very long time after the fulfillment and the realization of the project, many months. But then we had a communication with the office, and then it was explained and discussed, and when it's gonna fulfilled, and like all the budget and the funding part closed at the end. And I'm also realizing that like since 2023, these amounts also changed, so they raised. So obviously reacting on the economical environment around us. So this is also something like a difference compared to these earlier years when I had the chance to take part and got supported. If there are more questions, I'm glad to answer.
I think, yeah, while there are no questions, I just can confirm that indeed, since previous calls, the grant amounts have raised because of the inflation, and it's been a long time. The first launch of the project was 2022. Now we're in 2026, and of course we understand that not always this money is enough, and we can't cover real costs. But the project is kind of demand-led, and you, Trisha, you can apply again if you have a project in mind. So this was a big change.
So thank you very much, Trisha, for your presentation. And now I would like to open the floor for anybody who would like to ask some questions. I think first maybe we should ask questions to Trisha if you have some. I think it's a very good opportunity to have somebody here today who actually did this and actually got a grant and also reported on this grant. So please ask questions now, either in the Q&A session, or if you would like to already ask Trisha, then we can give you the floor as well. So now I'm looking at the attendees list. If somebody, and you can do this by raising your hand, and you can find a raise hand button below in the toolbar. So anybody who would like to ask question orally, or yes, you can also put it in the Q&A, which you can also find like in the toolbar. Okay, so Trisha, I know that you have to go. So if there is no questions for you, then we let you live. And once again, thank you very much for joining us today, and that you have shared your experiences with all of us. I think it was beneficial for all the applicants who would like to try this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, I'm happy to be part, and so that kind of things continue in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, then I think we should go to the questions that was asked, and my colleague Gábor also answered a lot of questions in the Q&A session, but still we have some addition we have to make, or still have some questions that we mentioned we would answer live. So I think maybe, I don't know, Katja or Antti, you see the Q&A session and you see the unanswered
we do
questions? Okay, so I think we should we should first go with there is a question about the proof of the legal entity. Is it acceptable to upload the proof that is taken as a screenshot from an official government website, but no stamp or signature included? Is this okay?
Well, normally, if it's an official, let's say, document, I mean, it's okay if there is not a stamp, but yeah, we should see that it's from an official website and it's, yeah, I suppose this will be okay. Doesn't mean that every document needs to have a stamp, but yeah, we need to have the source of being, yeah, official. So I suppose it will be okay. But in most cases, they can actually have the document. So it's a bit strange if it's only online, but yeah, that should be fine.
Okay, thank you very much. The second question comes from our Ukrainian colleague, Olha, and she would like to know, coming from Ukraine, of course, that in the current circumstances, is there a way for Ukrainian organizations to act as hosts? I've heard about virtual residencies, that's what she mentions, but haven't been able to find much information about them. So virtual residencies.
Sorry to correct you, not virtual residencies, but virtual mobility.
Okay, but that's
So I
what
think
she's...
the reply is that indeed in the residency action we do not have virtual residencies. Indeed, in the individual mobility, people can apply for a virtual project, as Kadia explained. But in the residencies, yeah, we don't give this opportunity because the whole idea of the residencies is, yeah, indeed to have them in the premises and invite physically people. So this is not possible.
I think in this case, Ukrainian organizations, they can be as international partners, but the artists wouldn't be able to travel to Ukraine and will implement their projects only online.
Okay, thank you. I hope the question now is answered. Okay, there is a question about, now we are receiving a lot of questions, so
yeah, it's getting active.
Yeah, it's getting active. We try to go forward with them, but maybe first, because I see that we have one hand raised from Bori, so maybe first we should answer question, and after that we should continue with the Q&A. So Bori, the floor is yours. Now, yes, now you find the button where you can unmute yourself. So please go forward with your question.
Yeah, thank you. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Do you hear me well? Yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I just wondering that, okay, I already wrote in the Q&A as well, but I was wondering that if an individual artist can apply for not for a residency program, but for a residency place as alone. I mean, not to join to a group of other residency people, but going alone to a place which can host the artist.
Yes, indeed. And in this case, the residency you are going to will act as an international partner. They won't benefit from the project, but the only thing you need from them is the letter of invitation, and then you describe your project that you will implement in this residency, but it's you who apply.
I see. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we have some questions in Hungarian, so we try to answer them in the chat. Or maybe you can help with us and I can translate. But now I'm giving the floor to Yvette Foyer, because I think she also had a question in the Q&A, but now I cannot find it, but she wanted to elaborate on her question. So now I'm giving her the floor.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I applied to group mobility in 2023. And I thought it was a pretty good application, but it was refused. And I never really figured out why or what was missing from it. So is there any consultation that you can provide? Or is there anyone at the Hungarian office who can read an application and comment on it? My suspicion was that my two objectives were to build a network and to learn. I don't know what the exact phrasing is, but something along this line. And then I thought maybe preference is given when you actually start creating a project in the location where you are applying to go. Is it true? Is there any preference given to one of the objectives? Is creating something already of a higher relevance, or it's not true? And if there is any consultation possible? So these are my two questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your question.
So,
I think I have already answered in the chat regarding objectives. All objectives are equal and we give no preferences, so it's up to you to choose them. And I can't say right now what was wrong or right with the application, but it might probably be just eligibility criteria. So it's hard to say now, but one piece of information you can take from my answer is that all objectives are valid, and we don't estimate a project according to the objectives.
Yeah, could I ask Yvette if your application was ineligible or rejected?
No,
Because
it
these are-
wasn't. It was just rejected.
Okay, so then eligibility was fine, because many
Yeah.
times it happens that if it's ineligible, it's directly, as we said, not even evaluated. So then in this case, yeah, sorry to hear. I mean, it depends the number of applications we receive and the period. It's always, of course, there is after evaluations, there is maybe we didn't mention a jury committee where they do the final selection, and this is explained in the call. So it depends the country, how many applications we had. So of course we invite you to apply again, and indeed it has nothing to do with creation. Even if we live in a fully productive times, we understand that this thought maybe it's a bit logic, but no, it's not about producing, and it's not about results anyway. Even impact is not evaluated so much in the final results. But yeah, and we don't provide evaluations because we receive, I mean, all the points and what went wrong because we receive so many applications. So
I
yeah,
think the only tip we can give is not to wait till the final deadline. Because the longer you wait, the more applications we receive in the final deadline, meaning that the chances are lower. And usually the average number of applications is quite equal throughout the call, and then the final deadline it raises. So I would encourage you to apply again, but maybe not in the April deadline if you are interested in individual mobility action.
Okay. What about the consultation question?
Due to the amount of applications, we don't give any consultation. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, also regarding the desk, we as a Creative Europe desk, also, it's as I mentioned, this is the entry level call to Creative Europe, and professionally we never intervene with any of the projects. So professionally, what you would like to do, and I think and the call is very clear. So I think we also, you have the possibility to ask questions during question time, these events that are organized by our Goethe colleagues, every Friday, right? You organize them about the individual mobility or the residency actions, or at least on a regular
the
basis.
date. Yeah, for residencies, we have 2 more question times. The next one is the 6th of February, and then I think beginning of March. So only 2. And for individual mobility, it's twice per month. So I think, Katia, if we give all the links, the registration.
Yes, it will be in the follow-up email.
Super.
Yes.
But
yes, and yeah. So then, if you mentioned the follow-up email, our next question is, where can we find the links that were mentioned in the presentations? We will send every links in the follow-up email. Hopefully, in the follow-up email, you will receive the presentations of today. Also, you will hopefully receive the recording, like the link, which will be a YouTube link, hopefully, of the recording of today's session, and also all the information that was mentioned. We try to include also in that email. Okay. Maybe, yeah, I see that some of the questions are disappearing, but maybe we should a little bit talk about like the possibilities who apply to the different parts of the program. So my question would be, is it possible to, if you got an individual mobility grant, after that, is it possible, for example, to take part in a residency action, of course, as an artist, but receiving grant through the residency action as well? Or, and the second part of my question is, how, if you took part in the latest call, I mean the call before the previous call, like in the 2021, 2023 call, are you able to apply now? Or what are the rules of reapplications or resubmissions?
Okay. Katja, can I go with this one?
Yes,
It's indeed,
please.
yeah, always a bit of a complex question, that what happens with these two actions under this umbrella of a project. So firstly, I think we can clarify that anyone who applied or got the grant in previous calls, call for individual mobility or call for residency, they can reapply. It's like a continuation now. These are new calls. So if you are already a grantee, I got the grant in 2024 to do a residency or be an individual grantee, they can reapply. So this is possible. Now, as we always say, under each call, you can apply only once. So that's a little note that if I apply now and I am rejected, then they should wait for the next call. And this goes more to the individual mobility because we have all these rolling deadlines. So if they applied and they got rejected now in February, they cannot reapply in April to get the funding. So this is a second note. I hope it's clear. And then when it comes to the two actions, if someone got the funding to be a host, they can apply to get the funding to be an individual, to do an individual mobility. So if I was a host, I can apply now as an individual, as an artist to travel abroad. This is possible. What is not possible is the situation of the double funding, meaning if I am Antigone and I have an NGO here in Brussels and I invite Katja to come to my residency. We cannot, both of us, apply. So I cannot apply now as the legal entity, I don't know, Antigone's dance studio, let's say. I cannot apply for a residency and having Katja applying in individual mobility to come to me and act as her international partner, because this will be a legal entity and an individual applying under the same program for the same project and the same traveling. So this will be double funding. I don't know if this is clear. Is it? Maybe I can re-explain it.
For me, I think for me it's clear, but
okay. So this will be that we both apply. So Katja would apply to come to my residency, and I would apply to do a residency and invite, for example, Katja, and then this will be having twice the travel allowance, the daily allowance, etc. So that will be double funding under Culture Moves Europe project, under the same project. But anything else, if it was for different projects and different periods, then this will be possible. Voila. We know it's a bit complex, all this reapplication and different roles, because I could be a host, but I can apply to go and travel. I could be a mentor in a residency, and sometimes we have this question, and then I would like to take the funding as an individual. So yeah, if there is a specific question and still not clear, people can always reach out to us in our email. But yeah, for the moment, that's what we can share. Don't know, Katja, you would like to add something? No. Okay.
No, I think you were very clear, I hope.
Okay.
Yeah, and we had like questions in the question and answer part, like that was about, are there any lists of hosting organizations that you can apply to? And of course, we answered there are no lists, because you, as an artist or cultural professional, can choose whatever institutions or whatever who would like to work together with. So I think that's very important for everybody to know, that there are no such lists. Like, if you can choose from this list to be able to go only to these institutions, you can choose the organizations or basically the natural person, the artist that you would like to work with, that welcomes you on an individual mobility. So I think that's very important to emphasize.
Yes, even though now, that's true that we don't, like in the application, it's not, we don't give this list and it is not defined, and this is super open and free for people to choose. But indeed, in this, let's say, continuation of our project now, because we got this feedback and this need of people of more, let's say, creating the space for more collaborations and more network. Maybe Katia could explain a bit here that our idea for the sectoral matchmakings, or this is something that we will share more in the future, because there is this need and idea to.
Yes, I think I mentioned this somewhere in my answers, that we are preparing a special event which is called sectoral matchmaking. It's still under development, but the need is high, and we want to contribute to the search of international partner, residency hosts, etc. So I can't share more information right now, but I strongly encourage you to follow our social network, and believe me, very soon there will be something. We're at the end stage of preparation, so there will be a helpful tool to find your match.
Okay, the next question is in Hungarian, so I hope I understand it correctly and try to translate it now. So, is it possible to apply as a group mobility with people from 5 different locations? For example, for a residency in Berlin, in the framework of the individual mobility call. For example, like if they are musicians, like making music in the same style, and they come together for a group mobility in Berlin. And the question is about, is it more rational, or is it more wise for them to apply together or individually? I hope I understand the question correctly and translated it correctly.
So if they
what would you say?
If they work on the same project, then of course they can apply as a group. It doesn't matter whether they live in same country and same place or different ones. It's important that they come to the destination country for the same duration, and they implement the same project. But nationality and country of residency doesn't make a role. They can also be from different sectors, and it can be the first time collaboration. But if they go to a residency in Berlin and then they do their stuff separately, then they should apply as individuals. So here is the question of whether they work together or they have just the same destination but different projects.
I think that the question is about if they would like to work together. So
then, of course, as a group, up to 5 people, yes, they can apply totally.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope, please.
And if we can add a little note, sorry, Gábor, and if we can add a little note on the reapplication here, because really this reapplication topic is always a bit complex. if these 5 people, indeed, as Katia said, if they work together, it should be a group application. I mean, even if they work together and they want to take their chances, it's really about taking your chances. Do we apply differently? And then good luck, who gets selected and who not? I think it's better. It's a better idea, the group application. But if they apply now as a group, let's say they apply now end of January or end of February, they cannot apply again as individuals in April, because again, even if I apply as a group member, then this will be reapplication in the same call. So I might sound a bit repetitive here and a bit we get a bit strict with it, because in group applications you have one applicant, right? You have the group leader, that is the applicant, and the group members are just members of it. But then then this will be checked, right? We will know if one of the members reapplied as individual. So you see here the reapplication rule. So better
Thank
choose
you,
wisely.
So I'm asking MR2, who posed this question, if his question or her question is answered, or if not, please raise your hand to have your follow-up question. So next one, I think, next one. It's in English, so I just have to read it. Oh, yeah, it's like, if I invite somebody as a residency, do I have to pay his or her cost before I've got the rest amount of money? I think the first part is, my question would be, is it possible to apply for the residency call as a natural person? Because
as we said, if they are a
possible,
self-employed person, that of course is registered somehow, and they have the space. Let's say I am a ceramist and I have my ceramic studio and I want to do a residency, or the capacity to rent a place, right? So they need to be able to,
Okay, so if this is possible, then the important part of the question is that does the residency host have to pay all the costs or all the costs before getting the second? I think it refers to before getting the second installment of the grant.
Okay, I understand. Well, I think in this case, from our part, we don't come to, there is no obligation, like we don't come to the host to say, yes, you should pay them. Like if it happened that some residencies, if financially they were able, they were paying the full grant to the artist, and the residency was waiting for the report and the balance payment from our side to cover their cost. This is of course welcome, but we do not ask for that. Like it's really up to the organization. It makes more sense that when the organization receives the first installment from us, that they are able to pay the artist. Of course, as in many EU funding projects, even Erasmus projects, myself was also a participant, there is always this pre-financing point where you book your tickets before. I mean, everyone that did Erasmus also knows that. So there is this pre-financing, let's say, thing that you will probably book your tickets before having all the installments and the payments. Then it's really, and this is something we explain in the info sessions. So when a host is selected, we really give all this information, how to pay the artists, how to do the contracts with them. We give suggestions, how to manage all this. And of course, we advise that they give some funding. It happened that some residencies even paid the full amount at the end, which of course we do not suggest, because the artists then are struggling, but it really depends. Like from our side, there is no obligation. It depends how the host wants to manage their finances and the relation with their participants.
Okay, I think we had a question from Eka who posed this question, but I think now it was answered as well. So thank you.
Okay.
It was in Hungarian, so yeah.
There is also quite a long question in Hungarian, and while Antti was speaking, I translated it. It's quite a complex question involving 3 different countries, Romania, Hungary, and also the Netherlands. I think I will just revise the rules of the project, and maybe that will be already the answer to this question. So as I understood, it's about a little collective coming from different countries, having roots in Transylvania. The main rule of Culture Moves Europe is that if you reside in one Creative Europe country, you have to go to another Creative Europe country to implement your project. No matter what is your nationality, whether you are Hungarian residing in Romania, whether you are Romanian residing in Hungary, you have to go to another country to implement your project. And if you are, for example, Hungarian, but you are you live in Romania, you can give a proof of your residency in Romania and go to Hungary to implement your project. This is a theory. Maybe I mixed up the countries now, but the nationality doesn't matter. The country of residency matters. And I hope it's helpful. If you want to go to the Netherlands, it simplifies the whole situation. But from one collective, you can come from different countries and go to the third one. I hope I helped.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you even more, because I didn't have to translate all this for you, because yes, it was a long and complex question. I hope Noemi is satisfied with the answer.
But if not, there is always our email address, and you can ask us a question in a written form, and we will do our best to help you.
Yeah, thank you. I see that Bori is again raising her hand. So maybe it's a different question, Bori, right? So maybe I give the floor to you again.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, because for me, sorry, but for me, it's still not clear that what reapplying means exactly. I mean, we are talking about reapplying a new course, but there are deadlines for every month. So there is one open call for 1 year, and for the next year, which is start from April. So if I was rejected last year, I can reply from April or after April.
No, it's like, like we have, let's put it this way, we have rounds of calls.
Yeah.
So this round began in October and ends in April. So in this round of call, you can apply only once, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, it's
dear
correct.
colleagues. So you can apply only once, but the next call,
correct,
which we don't know yet the publication date, but hopefully it will be again from this year, from October again until next year, until April, you can apply again. So this is the main rule, that in one round of call you can apply once, because it's a rolling call. So we have monthly deadlines, but of course it's one call for this from October until April, and again hopefully from October until April.
All right, so it's
I
like
hope
a
it's
season.
clearer now.
Okay, so it's like a season that you have an open call season with different deadlines, month by month, and then you have, okay, thank you.
Exactly. We don't have a clear date now, but,
all right.
but I can say that in this year, in the autumn of 2026, most probably new calls will open in both residency and individual mobility. I mean, this is how it always goes. It's autumn, spring. So yeah, it's round, as Gábor said.
All right. Okay, thank you so much for your help.
Okay, and I think we have now a question that I think we already answered, but this is a little bit, the question is a little bit reformulated, so I try to translate it. So if we have a host who gets in the residency action call gets a grant, then the individual artists who apply for this call can also get a grant. I think we have answered this, that either you get a grant from the residency action and then the host gives the grant to the individuals who they welcome for the mobility, or they apply as in the individual mobility framework, and then they get the grant directly from you, from Goethe-Institut. I hope this, Edina, I hope it answers your question.
Yeah, I think exactly this is it. And I would say the difference, because many people will think, okay, then what is the difference of the residency host and the international partner? The residency host in the residency action, it receives funding, but also it's more responsible, right? It's the host that organizes the residency, applies, they are responsible for the accommodation, providing mentorship. It's really that they have the project on them, they are the coordinators, and they are hosting these people. The international partner, it can really be another person or a museum, an organization that just provides the premises, but they don't receive funding. They are not even obliged to be, let's say, to collaborate or to be involved. Maybe it's just a museum providing their spaces, a program, but that's it. So I think it also really depends the role of the legal entity, if they really want to host and be involved and also receive funding for that, or if it's just an international partner that we don't really expect much from them, just the invitation letter and that's it. So this is also the difference in funding and in the role and the responsibility of the organization, of the hosting body. Yeah, if it makes sense. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, we don't have more questions in the Q&A section, but I still want to mention one very important topic, and one question which was asked even before the event. Now we even have a comment for this question, and of course, I'm guessing you hear this question a lot. What about taxes regarding that the individuals who are taking part in a mobility action, if they have to pay taxes after the grant, or if they don't have to pay taxes? This was the initial question, but now it's a little bit more elaborated. So first, please, if you can comment on this, please do so, because indeed this is a very important question for all the people who are taking part in mobility, if they have to pay taxes after their grants.
This is a difficult question, and unfortunately, there is no answer valid for every Creative Europe country. I remind you, it's 41 country, and they have different legislations. They have different tax systems. So I'm sorry to say that our project is not responsible for taxes, and we can't provide any consultancies on this matter. So it's better to research within your country. I'm sure there are different resources that might help you, but it depends on case, and Culture Moves Europe doesn't cover the taxes.
Okay, thank you very much. And then about the elaboration of the question, because I really emphasize that this was only my personal opinion, that it is a grant. So as for me, again, personally, I think that it would be illogical to pay taxes after a grant that you get. But still, one of the applicants asked this from the Hungarian tax authority, and the answer was, I think that was told to him by his accountant, that according to the Hungarian tax authority, this will classify as other income, which would most likely make it subject to taxation.
I think I read this question, and that it's logically it's a scholarship, but the accountant advised to have it as other incomes.
Yeah.
I don't think I can take this responsibility and advise anything else. Probably accountant knows better, but I would agree that it's a grant, so it falls under scholarship, and other income probably.
There was a suggestion that maybe
another question, that if you like dig into it, what grant covers. Of course, it's per diem and it's travel expenses. Then it might be a different category, but this is a grant. We transfer a grant, and we don't say that we transfer per diem. So I would still stick to scholarship category.
But maybe would it be possible, and that was one of the recommendations that this applicant suggested, that maybe you, or I don't know, one, of course, one body of the EU maybe could issue an official recommendation, some sort that take for only this kind of reason, for taxation reasons, that you recommend that this is like something like a scholarship or a grant, which means that it should not be under taxation.
I'm
So
afraid
maybe would it be
that
possible? What do you
this
think?
wouldn't be possible because, again, it differs, it varies from country to country, and Goethe-Institut can't take this responsibility and give any taxation recommendations.
Okay, thank you very much. I think now we covered this very deeply, this topic. Okay, I think there are no more questions in the Q&A session. We had some questions before the event as well, but I think most of them were answered during your presentations. So thank you very much for that. And also now it's the last opportunity to, any questions hasn't been answered or anybody has new questions, then please now go forward to ask them. Okay.
Yeah, I think my only advice would be once again to go to our website and read the call carefully. Our team did its best to simplify, to make it as transparent as possible. If anything stays unclear, as I mentioned before, there is our official Culture Moves Europe email address where you can reach out to us. And as Gábor mentioned, there will be a follow-up email with all of the resources, links, also videos, tutorials. There is a lot of things. So if you research, I think you will already find an answer.
Yeah. And the question times, little reminder, there is tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow, Friday, right? There is a question time at 11 for the individual mobility. If I'm not mistaken, probably also next Friday. Individual mobility are always
Yes.
more. Okay, so next Friday and the following week, it's individual mobility, Friday at 11, and the 6th of February, it will be residencies. So it's always 1 hour where we explain only one call, because today with Katia, we gave you all the information for both actions. So it was a bit of too much, but the question time focuses on one action. So if someone is interested in residencies, they can join me the 6th of February. It's going to be only for that, or individual tomorrow. And there is also space for questions, and it's in a very informal setup, and we hope it's helpful.
Yeah,
Voilà.
we received a last minute question, so maybe we should go for that. What will happen in case of reason the individual need to postpone his project during the period? But it's
for this, it's possible. All this, it's always explained in the call, in the grant agreement later. I mean, of course, if there is a need to postpone the project, this is possible, but within the frame, right? Like as we say now, people that receive now, some people already received their contracts. Depending the rolling call, if it's in the individual mobility, there is a 6 months time frame. So within the 6 months time frame, you can change the dates, adapt your traveling, your project. This is totally fine. Not the duration. You cannot say I apply for 30 days and in the end I'm going to do 60 or 10. Of course, the budget is decided, so it's not about that, but it's about moving your dates or some days less, but not for big changes. And for residencies, it's the same. If you apply, you receive your grant agreement and you say, I will do my residency 30 days in September, but in the end you want to do it in December, this is again possible. But yeah, all that is explained in a later stage, and yeah, it's doable.
Okay, now we
And
also have a question.
yeah, there is a
Yeah,
question
sorry.
about the question time. Yes, you have to register. There is a link in our link tree. But if we send out the follow-up email today, I think we can also include this registration link.
Yes.
I can
But
send
I
it.
think we,
Actually, I can send it now.
yeah, okay. Maybe in the answer section of, or yeah, because we didn't open the chat, so maybe
Yeah.
for in the Q&A you can answer with the link, right, Katja?
Yes, I will answer with the link.
Yeah, and I think Gábor, the other Gábor already gave it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
great.
Okay. Gábor was very
So
was
Thank you.
yeah, if we don't have any more questions, then I shall thank all of you, all of the participants. Thank you, Antti and Katja, for being with us today. And also,
Thank
of
you
course,
very
I would like to thank our interpreters. I'm sure that they did a wonderful job. Thank you very much, all of you, and thanks for today. See you next time in one of our events, or maybe at question time.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you very
for
much. Have a
organizing
nice day,
this
everybody.
session. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you, Gábor, and yeah, good luck, everyone.
Yeah, good luck. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.